welcome to Obscure Depths, MLB preview, the Chicago White Sox. I am picking the White Sox to finish fourth in the division. This team has some talent, but I just don't see them putting it all together, unfortunately, this year. They just have some question marks. My main concerns are Tyler Flowers behind the plate all season, Jeff Keppinger possibly at third, also a little Brett Morrell probably over there. And Gordon Beckham never really seems to know what he wants to do, just never seems to be on. Adam Dunn as well, he's going to hit 40 home runs, but he might have 50 hits on the season. So anyway, let's go around the charts and see what we can find here with the White Sox. I think I really like their outfield. Dayan Vicciato in left. He had some nice numbers last year. I think he's gonna kind of struggle to match those again. He had 25 home runs, 78 RBIs. Came in at 255 batting average, which isn't terrible for somebody who hits that many home runs. So I think the White Sox would be very happy though if he matched those numbers. Alejandro Diaz in center, 281 batting average, 9 home runs, 26 stolen bases. Just a nice center field. A great defensive player as well. I'm sure the White Sox expect that from him, and he'll probably hit a little bit of leadoff too. So I'm sure the White Sox are expecting good things from this guy. I think he can improve on those numbers. That batting average is probably going to be as high as it's 281 is probably as high as it's going to get with him being a leadoff hitter. Alex Rodriguez, a phenomenal year last year. Alex Rios. If you follow Alex Rios' career, you'll know that he has up and down years. 304 last year, 25 home runs, 91 RBIs, 23 stolen bases. He looks to be in line for a step back. Even if he doesn't have a down year, it's going to be hard for him to duplicate those numbers. He also managed to play in 156 games, which is pretty amazing. Paul Konerko at first. Konerko, just a nice quality hitter, 26 home runs, 75 RBIs, 298 batting average a year ago. All that in just 105 games. All that in just 144 games. But he's a good quality hitter. He's getting up there in age, but he can still hit the ball out of the ballpark. So I look for him to put up quite similar numbers. Gordon Beckham, 234 batting average. Showed a little power last year with 16 home runs, but the guy just needs to settle down. He was such a hot prospect at one time, and he just seems to really not taking that next step like everybody thought he was going to do. I think if he just takes a few breaths, and just hangs on, he's got enough experience now where you think he could actually come out and really be a leader for this team. That just remains to be seen. Alexei Ramirez at short. This guy showed a lot of power early on in his career. He's kind of leveled off, just kind of typical shortstop numbers, unfortunately for him right now. I'm sure the White Sox are hoping he just can produce maybe a little bit more than he did last year. Just 9 home runs, did steal 20 bags, 265 batting average, 73 RBIs. So that's not terrible for a shortstop, but I'm sure the White Sox would like to see a little more power out of him. Jeff Keppinger, Brett Morrell at third. Keppinger shouldn't be a starter anywhere. Nothing against the guy, but he shouldn't be a starter anywhere in the league as far as I'm concerned. If they want to give him the starting job, I guess more power to him. But I just don't think he should be a starter. I think Morrell, has had his struggles, but maybe he's ready to take that next step. Maybe they should just really let this guy fly, and see what he can do. I think I was a little bit encouraged, even though his numbers weren't great by his rookie year, and I don't think the White Sox have any confidence in the guy, unfortunately. So I think that's going to stunt his growth somewhat. But I think he is certainly the third baseman of the future, and if they don't want him to do that, they need to get rid of him instead of messing with his head. Adam Dunn at probably DH most of the year, 41 home runs a year ago at a 204 batting average. Dennis is a great player, but it's so hard to watch somebody hit that many home runs and not have do anything else. I would expect his batting average maybe to be a little bit higher, but you just don't know. You just don't know what you're going to get with this guy except for the home runs. Anything else is just really up in the air. Tyler Flowers behind the plate. White Sox did something interesting and let AJ Pierzynski walk. So they're apparently ready for this kid. This kid's been kind of a budding prospect for about the last 3 or 4 years with this team. I like him. I don't know if he is ready for this, but apparently the White Sox do, and that's why they run a baseball team and I don't. He had 7 home runs and only 13 RBIs with a .213 batting average last year. We'll see what he can do in the entire duration of the season. I do like this kid. I think he has good potential. He might take his lumps this year and be a better player a year from now because of it. But I guess we'll just see what has to happen. Let's look at the bullpen. Addison Reed going to be the closer. This is a nice bullpen. I really like this bullpen, even though I'm again picking this team to finish 4th in division. I really like all the veteran presence in this bullpen. Matt Thornton, Jesse Crane, Matt Lindstrom as well. A guy probably didn't get much press last year, but just had a really solid year for this team in the pen is Nate Jones. Just a big, strong kid. Had 8 wins in relief, just about a strikeout per inning, a .239 ERA. I like this kid. I think he's got a lot of potential. A very good setup man for this team, and he kind of gets swallowed up by Crane and Thornton being on the same roster. But I think he could be in line for a really good year. Looking at the rotation, we got Jake Peavy at the top. Peavy has had somewhat of a resurgence the last couple of years. I don't know how good this team's going to be, so I don't know what his win total is going to be like. He was 11-12 last year. Close to a strikeout per inning. Did give this team 219 innings, which is probably the most innings he's given in a long time. But he's the top of the rotation guy right now. There's some certain question marks in this rotation, but I think he can do all right for this team. He's a good clubhouse guy for these other young arms. Chris Sale obviously had a great year last year, 17 wins. Can he duplicate that? I'm not sure. This is a big, strong, left-handed kid. I think you're going to see good things from this guy going forward. I mean, the White Sox really like him. He was a little rushed to the majors, which kind of surprised me. But I don't know if he's going to duplicate those 17 wins on a ball team that I don't think is going to be very good. But I think he'll have a nice year otherwise. John Danks certainly had his issues last year. But this is another good guy that's been around. He's got some experience. I think given the kind of the poor performance he's had over the last year or so, I think he's in line to bounce back and have a decent year for this team. He is only 27 years old, so that's right about the age where you see these young guys take off. He was just 3-4 last year on 9 starts, kind of a high ERA, but this guy's won 15, 13 games before, so I think looking back at that, I think he's really in line. I think if he's truly healthy now, and he appears that he is, he's really in line to have a nice year for this team. Gavin Floyd, this guy is just a great pitcher. Not a lot of flash, but just goes out there and gets the job done. He was 12-11 last year, a little bit high on the ERA, but again, this is another guy that's been around for a few years. He is 30 years old, so he might be a little past his prime, but I think he still has a couple good years in him. I mean, he's a pitcher. He's not past his prime. What am I saying? I think he's still got a couple good years in him, and he could be in line for a really nice year this year, I believe. Jose Quintana, this guy had a nice year last year in some limited time. Him and Hector Santiago appear to be fighting for that 5th spot right now. So, I think both of these guys will probably see some starts early on, depending on how the White Sox feel or, who's healthy or whatnot. So, both these guys have potential. They're still a little bit raw, which is kind of typical for a 5th starter in the majors right now. But, again, I'm picking this White Sox team to finish 4th in the AL Central, right ahead of the Twins. I think with what Kansas City has done and Cleveland, and obviously Detroit's very good as well. Kansas City and Cleveland are just kind of stockpiled. That's why I'm picking this team to finish fourth. They haven't made a lot of changes besides, the Flowers for Krasinski behind the plate, so they could, that they have that going for them, but I just don't think that's going to carry them very far. This has been Obscure Depths MLB Preview, the Chicago White Sox. Thank you, and have a good day.